Hey, shalom. This is no ordinary voice, spiritual ventriloquism. You are listening to Dummy himself. And boy, am I a dummy today in the eyes of some. I want to touch on something because got a little bit of traction off the video last night. Mostly good. Some very good. Even people who didn't agree with me, namely my son. His comments were good, albeit I thought they were a little misplaced, but they were good comments. I can tell that he came from a certain kind of cloth with his vocabulary and whatnot, his command of language. Little rough around the edges at times, but he definitely has some zeal. We'll just put it that way. And that's a good thing. You know, if you can't believe what you can hear, maybe you'll believe what you'll see. So, testimony, witnessing. What's that all about? Okay. Well, we have to go back to the Torah. We can also go back to Halakha law, which is Jewish Torah law. The concept of bearing witness, it means to have an in-person experience. In other words, you have to see and you have to be a hear. Okay, you have to be direct. You have to be directly engaged in the situation. It is mandatory under both the Torah and Jewish law that you witness if you have relevant information in any case, mostly capital, probably along the lines of ecclesiasticals. I'm not so sure on. I'll freely admit that. Okay. But in relevant eyewitness experience, one is compelled by Torah to testify, and you don't get an out. And it also brings charges on falsely testifying. None of that. I did none of that. Okay. I was giving my perspective. Later, had a brother come into the comments section who was also there, and he bore witness to the event and the date, the time himself, and concluded that everything that I was saying was true and correct, and I thank him very much. It's always good to not be alone in this world, you know, somebody to have your back, without a knife, of course. So, what is a true witness? You have to be there, you have to see it, or you have to hear it. Or you're not really a witness. You could be exercising belief. You could be exercising faith because somebody wrote something down or wrote an account down. You can believe it. But you yourself would be a disinterested or excluded party because you weren't there. So, I wasn't there when Jairus' daughter was raised from the dead by Jesus. I wasn't there. I am not a witness of that. And neither are you. None of you. Okay? Unless you teleported back into the, to the first century and, you got into a time machine or something like that and you could, conjure that up. We wouldn't call that witchcraft either, though, would we? Anyway, you teleported back there and you saw what went down, then, maybe, but you didn't, and you don't have a time machine. And if you didn't see it and you didn't hear it, then you're not a witness. And neither are you a judge or a critic, okay? And so So my take on that was that there was not any, exculpatory evidence or any to determine that this woman had actually not just gone into diabetic shock. There was no exculpatory evidence to say that she, I don't know, maybe it's not exculpatory evidence, but there was no evidence to prove that this woman indeed died. She just basically had her head down. Okay? All right. So, my question is, can you bear witness to the raising of Jairus' daughter? Can you bear witness to Jesus doing tricks with fish and bread and performing that miraculous feeding of 5,000 people? Probably did. I wouldn't doubt it. I've seen miracles. I've seen healings. Said that on a couple of occasions, but some don't hear so well. Okay? All right. But are you a witness to that? Can you bear witness to that and testify that it is true? And stake your credibility, your reputation, and your life on it? The answer to that question is no. And for you to proffer yourself up as a witness to that event, you're a false witness, and you're going to be disqualified. You read the story just like the Easter Bunny and the Tooth Fairy and all of that. And I'm not even going to go into the place where what we call Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John wasn't written until 300 years after the fact. During the 3rd century was when they finally began to compile these books called Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. All they did was just ascribe names to them. Does that mean that everything in there is not true? No, I believe a lot of it. But that's where it ends. That's where it begins, and that's where it ends. I believe it. I believe Jesus raised the dead. I believe Jesus was raised from the dead. I'm not a witness, and neither are you. Okay? So we're either going to apply the Torah standard to this, while we all claim to be, we keep Torah 100% Torah keepers. You know, we keep it Torah in its entirety. Bull crap. If you did, you wouldn't need Jesus. Because the book says all have sinned and come short of his standards, come short of his expectations, come short of his esteem, or glory, as they say in the New Testament. You don't really measure up. And that's a good thing, because you'd soon screw that up. Okay? Just telling you right now. I'm not speaking as just a judge. I've experienced that myself. I've had to go through the eating of crow. But the men who are never wrong, they've never ate crow. They've never had anything to repent of in their entire life. And they're going to go down into the grave in that condition. Okay? And that's a sad thing. It really is. So, if you weren't there, you can't be a witness. It's just a belief. Do I believe, Noah took 7 animals of clean variety on the ark? Yes, I do. And 2 of the unclean? Yes, I do. But I also understand I can't really bear witness to that, especially when you understand that the book of Genesis was written extant from the event itself and transferred from oral tradition over into a codified format. Moses is given the credit for that, and 4 other books. One of them wasn't written until the 7th to 8th century. It's called Deuteronomy, my favorite book. It's presumptuous to say Moses wrote the Tanakh, the Torah, the 5 books of Moses. It's presumptuous to say that. You're not a witness to that. You can believe it, but you're not a witness. You understand it? Were you there? Did you Ra? Did you Shamwa or Shamshawa or whatever, did you hear that come through your ears? The Bible tells us that we should be rested in our hearts what we believe. But we don't apply that as a measuring stick to other people and as a litmus test as to what they believe, okay? Maybe they don't fit into your cult. I didn't. And you know that too. Right? Come on, let's be honest here. Let's stop pulling each other's leg. All right? Concordism. And I'm going to ride that for a good while now. I'm telling you. What does it mean to be a concordist? You lay your eyes on it, you read it, it maybe gives you goosebumps or it appeals to your mind or whatever, and you just think, oh, well, that's exactly what happened. And then later on, you'll retell that to someone else, like your son or daughter or grandkids or whatever, and yet you didn't bear witness to the truth of that. You believed it. Okay? Let's separate that, man. Belief is belief. Okay? And belief is a good thing. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that there's a difference between believe. Well, I believe I saw him and he had a gun and he pulled it out and he pointed it at that person 75, 80 feet away from me. I couldn't quite tell. It was almost 9:30 at night. The street lights were out. You get it? You understand now? And, it was 500 years ago, but I was there. Things have to be looked at critically, okay? Sanely, okay? And you shouldn't turn the Bible into an Easter bunny or a tooth fairy story. You really shouldn't, because it doesn't serve you well. It never has. It doesn't serve you well with the world. How many people have you evangelized and converted with the Easter bunny and the tooth fairy? Maybe back in the 5th grade. And the only evidence you had was Mama put a quarter under your pillow. Give me a break. You found eggs in the bushes while you were going out on your little pagan fertility rite on Easter. You were the spermatozoa and the egg was in the bush. Get it? And you found it. And out came a rabbit or a chick out of the egg. But it was a rabbit that had the basket, right? Now we're looking at Darwin's theory of evolution. We're looking at gap species and stuff. Okay. I'm really not going to go any further than this because I don't want to discourage anybody, and because there's probably not a big enough, tall enough building for you to jump off where you're at. So you're probably gonna just try to hop over the porch railing. You're just gonna injure yourself and have to spend $10,000 at the hospital like I did. Anyway, I hope I can get you all to understand what I'm saying here. I believe Jesus raised Jairus' daughter from the dead, but I don't have any evidence for it. I don't know whether it's true or not, and neither do you. Did it, is it a feeling or, is it some qualm or what? Really, I think we should be focusing more on what do you say? Loving our brothers with all of our heart, mind, soul, and strength. And loving our neighbor as we love ourselves. And loving Yah with the ability and the capacity that he has given us to love him. And if somebody's not measuring up to you, they're not a defective person. You imbecile. You got to stop thinking like that. All right? You're the strong. You're supposed to bear the burdens of the weak. Okay? And then you get people that says, cast out devils, heal the sick, and raise the dead. And yet none of them's ever done it. Not once. Okay? So, I don't want to drag this out any further. I just hope you understand what I'm trying to get at. You can't read the Bible, which is a contract of life, without having any idea what you're investing in and what's going to be required of you. Okay? And some people have left that concept a long time ago. A long time ago. That's too bad. Better you than me. So long.